Loneliness is a powerful thing. It can make us reach for love in the darkest places, trust the wrong hands, and step willingly into danger. In December 1948, Janet Faye believed she had found romance. Instead, she walked straight into the clutches of two of America's most infamous lonely hearts killers, Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck. By the time she realized the truth, it was far too late. The Lonely Hearts Deception. December 1948, Albany, New York. Janet folded the letter carefully, her fingers lingering over the elegant handwriting. Dearest Janet, from the moment I read your words, I knew we shared something special. Two souls lost in a world too busy to notice them. I long for your companionship, your kindness, and your warmth. Would you do me the honor of visiting me in New York? Her heart fluttered. 66 years of life had taught her to be cautious, to guard herself against the sharp edges of disappointment. But loneliness was a heavy burden, and Raymond Fernandez seemed like a man who could lighten the load. A businessman, he had said, a widower, a man of means who wanted not just romance, but devotion. She placed the letter with the others, neatly stacked in her bedside drawer. She had been careful her entire life. What was the harm in taking a chance? The moment she stepped off the train, she felt it. A ripple of unease curling in her stomach. Not because of Raymond. No, he was just as charming in person as he had been in his letters. His dark eyes were kind, his touch gentle as he took her hands in his. It was the woman beside him who set her on edge. This is my sister Martha, Raymond said, his voice smooth. Martha Beck was large and solid, her expression unreadable. Her lips pressed into a thin smile, but her eyes stayed cold. Janet hesitated. She hadn't expected a chaperone. Raymond reassured her with a touch to her arm, a smile that made her forget her doubt. You'll stay with us for a while, he said. We'll have a beautiful time together. And just like that, she let herself believe him. The apartment was small but tidy, filled with dark wooden furniture and the faint scent of cologne. Over dinner, Raymond spoke of Spain, of his business ventures, of the loneliness that had haunted him since his wife's passing. I knew when I met you, he said, that I would never be lonely again. Janet smiled, feeling warmth creep into her chest. Across the table, Martha remained silent, her fork scraping against her plate. The days passed, and Janet found herself drawn to Raymond's attentiveness. He was affectionate, kind, and eager to talk about their future together. He spoke of their life ahead, of how well she would fit into his world. But Martha was always there, lurking at the edges of their moments together, her presence an unspoken barrier. Janet noticed the way Martha's eyes lingered on Raymond, filled with something deeper than sisterly concern. The way her jaw tightened whenever Raymond so much as touched Janet's hand. The way her mood darkened whenever the conversation turned to romance. One evening, Janet awoke to hushed voices in the next room. She heard Martha's voice, low and urgent, followed by Raymond's murmured reassurances. She caught only fragments of their conversation. Words like, "Don't need her, and you promise me." Something was wrong, deeply wrong. That night, Janet jolted awake, her heart racing. She wasn't sure what had pulled her from sleep. A sound, a feeling. The room was dark save for the faint glow of moonlight through the curtains. She listened, straining to hear past the pounding of her own heart. Then, a creak outside her door, a whisper. She sat up, her breath catching. The knob twisted. Slowly, the door inched open. "Martha?" Her voice wavered. "Raymond?" No answer. A shadow shifted in the doorway. Then, pain. Sudden sharp splitting through her skull. The room spun. She gasped, reaching for something, anything, to steady herself. But hands were on her, pushing her down. She struggled, confusion bleeding into terror. "Please," she choked out. "Raymond." But it wasn't Raymond holding her down. It was Martha. Her face twisted with rage, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "You think you can take him from me," she spat. "You think you're special." Janet tried to speak, but the world was slipping away, her vision going black at the edges. The last thing she saw was Raymond standing behind Martha, his expression unreadable. Then, nothing. The murder was brutal. Janet had been bludgeoned with a hammer, the blows relentless, her skull fractured under Martha's fury. Even as she lay there, still clinging to life, Martha pressed a scarf around her throat, tightening it, ensuring she would never wake again. Raymond watched. He did not intervene. His love for Martha, twisted, obsessive, overrode any loyalty to the woman he had lured into their trap. 2 days later, Janet's body lay wrapped in sheets, hidden beneath a concrete slab in the basement. By then, Raymond and Martha were already on a train to Michigan, answering another Lonely Hearts letter, whispering the same sweet promises. Another woman would open her door to them. Another woman would trust too easily. Another woman would never see the danger until it was too late. By the time police caught up with them in February 1949, they had claimed more lives, including Delphine Downing and her 2-year-old daughter, Raynell. The trail of deception, of betrayal, of murder had finally come to an end. But loneliness has a way of leading hearts into dangerous places. And Janet was not the first. She would not be the last. As Arthur Conan Doyle once said, the world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes. Until next time, stay safe.